Hello. Today I'm going to bring you what I consider probably one of the most overpowered ships I have ever played in this game. That is the T7 HMS Belfast. Now, this is the first Royal Navy cruiser actually available in the game, and it's a premium ship. And this thing is just completely overpowered in my opinion in every single way. I consider this ship insanely strong. The last time we were given this, they were removed and retweaked and given to us back again. And I've been playing this new version of it, and I thought the old one was already borderline overpowered because it just had so many tools. But this new one is even more ridiculous. Like, honestly, I don't really know what they're thinking with this ship. First of all, you saw me show the concealment there. I got 8.7k concealment. Now you might realize that is better than what you have on the Atlanta. That is better than what you have on the Flint. That is in fact the same concealment you have on a Kiev. And that's because this ship, for some reason, has access to the T8 module slot. That means you can slot the concealment module on it. Of course, you can also put the rudder shift module on it, but I'll show you why I consider the concealment so much better. It of course also has access to smoke. Now this smoke is a bit different in the way that unlike usual smokes that bloom for 28 seconds, meaning you have plenty of time to slow down into them, this smoke is only active for 7 seconds, which basically equals 2 smoke puffs. So you need to be already moving very slowly by the time you actually pop this smoke. If you try to panic, slow down and pop it, then you're just going to glide out of it. So it requires some preparation. And in the Belfast, basically the script they gave out, they implied that this is more of a high skill cap sealing ship. And in some ways I can agree with it. Basically there's plenty of ways you can fuck up with this ship, but it's still absolutely, it just has too many tools. Now of course there's the smoke. Now, and of course there's a fantastic concealment, and since you have 152mm guns, that also means of course that you can stealth fire, and you can stealth fire at, was it 13.3 kilometers? So you got a 2 kilometer buffer that you can stealth fire with. So this is a T7 insanely well concealed cruiser that can also stealth fire. The HE on it is good, accurate, fast reload, 7.5 seconds. And of course you get access to hydroacoustic search, which I'm popping now because I'm fighting DDs. So not only can you smoke yourself up, you can also use hydroacoustic search to keep yourself safe in smoke, and of course to hunt enemy DDs and making it impossible for them to torp you. So these are all very powerful tools. But then, because all these tools clearly aren't enough, you also have access to radar, which is exactly the same radar you get on the Atlanta. So you basically have the radar from the Atlanta, but you have the shell arcs of basically, I don't know, Budyonni, because these shells are 841 meters per second. So these are extremely, it's very easy to kill DDs. You see a DD pop up, and because you're smoked up, they won't see you, and it just go bloop, they're instantly deleted. So the guns are just very potent. Of course, you shoot 12 of them per volley. So with Demolition Expert, you get the fire chance up to 13%. It's not particularly high, but considering the amount of shells you're pumping out and how quickly you're pumping them out, you actually end up starting quite a lot of fires, as you can see on this poor pitiful Königsberg here, who just repaired his fire and it got set on fire again, and he's hating life right now. So the HE part is very strong. In fact, in this I'm gonna comment on 2 games. This one I'm gonna focus mostly on hunting DDs and the potency of the HE, and then in the next one I will show off more of the AP, which, trust me, the AP is not a weakness either. In fact, the AP on the ship is also very strong. I radar there just to shoot at those, by the way. I'll highlight my radar usage more later on, just so you can see that how stupid the combination of this insane concealment is. Of course, I mentioned earlier that it's better to use the concealment module than it is to use the rudder shift module, and that of course ties into the use of the radar on the ship. Because you can get your concealment down to a ridiculous 8.5 kilometers, yes, that is exactly the same, sorry, 8.7, which is exactly the same as the Kiev has. Because your radar has a range of 8.5, it basically means when you push into caps, when the DDs spot you and you get the detected sign, you can pretty much instantly slap radar on and you will spot them in return. So that means you are basically a cruiser that doesn't have a spotting disadvantage against DDs. Anytime your radar is up, you get spotted, you automatically spot them back and you start hammering them with shells, and they have to turn around and panic and flee and all this shit. So it just, you are great at burning down battleships, you're great at destroying and hunting DDs, and it's not like you have that many issues against cruisers either, because as you might be aware, ships like Atlanta and the Flint, well, they have an HP pool of 26k, 25 to 26k. We actually see an Atlanta there. I think it's 27.5. I think that might be the HP buff. So I'm not sure if did they actually have that much. Well, it doesn't even matter if it actually had 27.5k HP, the Atlanta, because you have 35.7k HP, which is in fact more than Pensacola's, and it's more than, well, it's pretty much more than everything except the Myoko, isn't it? Like, what the Shores is what, or York has 32 point something k. So you're very tanky as well, health-wise. And of course, your armor is also better than the Atlantas and the Flints. They have like, I think their Citadel armor is something like 89mm. You have 111mm Citadel armor. So you have stronger Citadel armor than they do as well. Now your Citadel is actually a bit larger in your ship, but that's not really that big of a trade-off considering everything else. Now here I'm going to show off, basically I know that they have a DD on this side, and I know that they're pushing in with the DD. So I use my insane concealment to close in. Of course, this DD has no idea because, well, he sees battleships are milling around here, but because of my great concealment, they can't even see me yet. So I know there's probably a DD pushing in here. So I'm just gonna calmly move in towards the camp. Oh, I'm spotted. Pop my smoke. Slow down. The DD is probably frantically calling target on me, but now I pop radar. Hey, Hatsuru, what just happened? He's like, wait a minute, what's going on? I just radared him. And now I'm in smoke as well, because of my smoke, so I'm completely impervious to any damage, but I'm able to shoot at their DD as much as I want. And this is pretty ridiculous. And of course, to top it all off, I activate Hydroacoustic Search in case he torque me, which is of course a high chance. So I'm impervious to torpedoes now as well, thanks to Hydroacoustic Search. So, like, the amount of tools that you have available is straight up absolutely goddamn ridiculous. No single cruiser should have this many tools, this many advantages at the same time. Like, you should have a weakness. You should have some sort of weakness. Like, considering it's a light cruiser, I mean, you cannot get defensive AA, so one could maybe say that carriers are supposed to be your weakness, but they're really not, because you still handle like a cruiser, you're fairly small like a cruiser, so you can easily turn and dodge torpedoes, and of course, your AA is actually really, really good. It's not like it has bad AA either. No, the AA on the ship is actually quite good. So, it's just like, what is the weakness supposed to be? Like, they imply this is supposed to be a high skill cap ship, but I feel like anyone who is I mean, of course there are plenty of chances you can fuck up with this ship, but I feel like this ship has just so many tools to use that someone who gets somewhat comfortable in using all these various tools is going to be so strong. I'm pretty sure I'm dead here since my smoke is running out and I'm kinda alone here. But let's switch to AP real quick. There's an enemy shores. And he's showing me broadside, so of course, bum bada bum, time to show off some AP for a change. Got my confed, I'm probably gonna die here, but whatever. Let's take this guy off. Well, there we go. Some Citadel volleys. Completely wrecked this poor guy. Broke his engine, he's turning away in a panic. He's like, where did this guy come from? Well, I popped out of a goddamn smoke 5 kilometers next to him. And I got deleted, just like any other cruiser would, showing broadside to this many battleships. Now the game ended, of course, soon after this. And made 460k credits, because of course it's a preview, so you make an insane amount of credits. In fact, just testing the ship out, I've probably made like 15 million credits, or it might actually be even that much. Anyway, let's move on to the next segment. Right, the next segment. This time I'm gonna focus a bit more on the AP of this small, actually quite awesome looking ship. I actually like the looks on this ship quite a bit. And of course its epicenter. Now, of course, one of the additional benefits of being the ship is naturally, well, it's T7, and right now, as everyone should know by now, T7s have pretty goddamn amazing matchmaking in the game right now. It's rare you end up against T8s, it's even rarer you end up against T9s. In fact, you pretty much constantly end up against T5s and T6s. But not to worry, I have played this against T9s as well. I can even show you some quick stuff from there, but well, I probably won't go too much into it, since you pretty much play it exactly the same. The only difference is instead of shooting like Hatsuharos, you're shooting Kageros, and instead of shooting Mayhens, you're shooting Fletchers, and you get even more XP and even more money and everything. Like, trust me, I played this against T9s, and you just shit on T9s just as much. In fact, when you start seeing these big battleships like Friedrich der Große and you start spamming HE on them, you will just laugh as you watch your damage numbers climb insanely high. Now, of course, using the concealment, I close the distance, slow down. Remember, you have to slow down plenty in advance on this ship, because once again, you only have 2 smoke puffs, so you have to be smoking down plenty of time. You see, there's the 2 puffs pretty much that you get. I think you might get, do you get 3? You might get 3, like you get 1 right at the start, and then you get, I'm not certain it's 2 or 3, but it's a very slim margin, so you have to be slowing down very quickly. Anyways, as promised, this commentary I'll focus a bit more on this segment I'll focus a bit more on the AP, because you already saw that the HE on the ship is quite strong. In fact, I'm pretty sure I wasn't even using Demolition Expert in that last commentary, simply because I had just flipped over my Warspite Captain to the ship, and I was of course using AFT on my Warspite Captain. So, but anyway, this time I will be focusing more on the AP. Now the AP on this ship is, of course, you got cruiser accuracy, 7.5 second reload, and the AP does a significant chunk of damage. Now the Citadel each is only 3.1k, but when you're shooting 12 shells, it doesn't really matter. You simply do so much damage. And as the York very quickly found out, of course I was smoked up, so he didn't even see where the shells were coming from. All he knew was that he was dying. Gneisenau, German battleship, showing broadside. Okay, of course, as when you shoot battleships with any sort of AP in a cruiser, you always want to focus on, first of all, the superstructure and kind of the line between where the deck, kind of basically where the deck is, right above the broadside. And when you shoot there, you can, just like you do with Soviet DDs, you don't want to be shooting at the deck armor because it's too thick. You kind of want to hit the superstructure or the deck in general. Sorry, the hull armor, not the deck armor. And as you saw there, the amount of damage I did with those volleys. Here's some Mutsuki. Oh well, my AP killed him. I was switching to HE, but there wasn't really much need. He had no idea what was going on. He got spotted by my Hydra, in case you were wondering what spotted him there. It wasn't a friendly or anything, no, but he was within range of my Hydra Acoustic Surge. Which, of course, you can have active because you have just as many Hydra Acoustic Surges as you have smokes. In fact, if you really want to, you can time it so that every single time you smoke up in this ship, you're also Hydraing it up. Meaning, oh, well, you'll never be caught off guard by Torps or DDs rushing you. Like, seriously? I mean, yes, if all of this sounds a bit broken to you, then trust me, I think it sounds pretty fucking broken to me as well. And I'm not really certain what the whole thingamajig with this ship is. Like, maybe they wanna, like, they have so much criticism against how they haven't had like Soviet bias, or just generally they're afraid of how the Royal Navy cruisers will be taken, like they'll be too weak or something. So they kind of put out this absolutely ridiculous premium. Now, in case you are actually wondering if I do recommend this ship, then yes, I do recommend this ship. Just like some ships are kind of, like for example the Arizona. I recommended the Arizona if you like US battleships, because you have to deal with the same place. Like, Jesus, look, like, Jesus! How is that not ridiculous? Like, I mean, it doesn't have a weakness. That's the whole thing. There are no weaknesses, absolutely no weaknesses to exploit. Besides, like, well, of course, giving broadside to a battleship in this cruise, that's a weakness. But I mean, can you really call that a weakness because it's on everything? Anyway, what I was saying, like, I do recommend this. Like, the Loyang I recommended. If you like USDDs, then you like the Loyang, and usually I have these caveats. There are very rare cases where I don't have any caveats for a ship. Like, for example, Blue Sky just said if you like DDs, you love this ship. And this is kind of the same thing with the Belfast. If you like cruisers and you have the money for this premium ship, just get it. I mean, they say they're never gonna nerf premiums, but if they actually release this ship just as is it now, if it comes into the premium store just as it is now, just buy it. Just instantly buy it, because they have a policy of not nerfing premiums. And I feel like once they release the ship and they start seeing the kind of stats and complaints coming out about the ship, it's gonna be just like the Nikolai, just like the Gremiashi, meaning they will never release the ship again. Like, it would be gone. It will be MIA forever. So if this ship comes out as it is now, then you have my 100% Flamu seal of fucking recommendation on this ship that yes, you should get it, because this is if they release it like this, then you will never see it in the premium store again. That I can absolutely promise you. Right, this guy fled. I'm kind of debating, do I want to use radar here? He's kind of far away. Can I actually secure the kill? Oh, he actually shot. Well, that was interesting. Not what I would do with the Belfast on my ass. But then again, a lot of people don't really know what a Belfast is by now. But anyway, seeing a cruiser that close to you should be plenty of sign for you to not shoot in general. Clearly this guy missed the memo, and of course it's burning down now. Let's see if we can find some more battleships here to shoot a bit more AP at. Oh, Gneisena? Another Gneisena. Is that the same Gneisena from earlier? Or is that a new one? Actually, don't know. There's a battleship on my right, this guy on my left. Start slowing down, we turn slowly, slow down, and we smoke up. Get some fires cooking on him. That's kind of the thing though. Usually on Russian DDs I kind of go, well, let's put a fire or two on him and then switch to AP, and that's kind of the same way you can play this ship. Just get a few fires cooking. Well, he repaired. He damage con that one fire. Now I'm definitively gonna stick with HE. Like, no point at all switching over to AP at this point. Come on, give me some... Is he giving broadside? If he's giving broadside, then I definitively want some fires on him before I start switching to AP. I'm not certain if I even have Demolition Expert right here either. I might not. It would be, like, it's possible you're actually seeing a not as potent ship as you could, simply because I'm missing 3% fire chance. But even with the 10% fire chance that you have without Demolition Expert, it's not like you have any struggles getting fire started, simply because you have so many shells to fire. Such a stupid amount of shells to fire. Okay, here we go. I got 2 fires and he's giving broadside. Time to start spamming that AP. Of course you want to hit, like, as I said, right above his hull armor. You want to be hitting the deck. And that's where you start getting those juicy volleys. It's too far in the front. You see, when that happens and you don't hit the superstructure, then you just get the shells just shatter on the armor and you don't get them. Damn, I actually kind of wanted that kill because I wanted to get Kraken here. But someone else took it just before he could burn down to my damage. Okay, this guy's giving a better broadside. Maybe this guy will serve as a better demonstration of the AP. Yeah, there we go. Now we're starting to see that those penetrations from long range starting to land in on this guy. Yeah, this guy is starting to serve, so it's not like the AP on the ship is weak either. The HE is strong, the AP is strong, the health pool is strong, the maneuverability is strong, the consumable selection and everything about the consumables is strong. The armor, well, you can't call it strong with a straight face, but like, it's still stronger than what you have on the Atlanta and the Flint. And the concealment is ridiculously strong. 8.7 on a cruiser? Like, what are they thinking? You're literally like outspotting pretty much Mayhens and Kievs. Well, not quite, but very, very close. So it's just insane concealment. gunpowder is great. The anti-air, actually I can quickly show you guys a clip. Let me switch, or I'll show you after this game, depending on anti-air. Just an example of a game I had. And well, this Kiev is burning. I guess you could say shell arcs at long ranges become an issue. Like there's some travel time, but it's not even that bad. Like, can you even call these Cleveland arcs? I'm pretty sure the Cleveland has worse arcs than this guy has. So, the weaknesses? I've been trying to, like, I've literally been playing this ship with the goal of trying to find a weakness for it, and honestly, I can't. I cannot find a weakness for this ship. What is it supposed to be? No clue. Again, ridiculous amounts of credits. Like, the amount of credits I've been making with this ship is insane. What, 2.8k base XP? Like, Jesus Christ. The ship is just absolutely insane. Just straight up absolutely insane. Let's see, credits and XP. My repair cost is 35.7k. I pay more for my premium consumables, like twice as much than I do for this ship. Anyway, let's show real quick. What was it I wanted? Oh, this is the game I wanted to show off real quick. I'm against, as you can see, a Ranger and a Ryu in this game. Just wanted to show the quick scoreboard. Ranger Ryu, no defensive AA, I still shot down 24 planes. So, anti-air, not a weakness on it either. And this is without using AFT or in any way specking for the anti-air. This is just me sailing around, playing my normal ship, and then occasionally focusing, not even remembering to focus the enemy targets that often, just shooting down the planes around me. And this is how strong the AA is. Oh, and another point, I shot this Ranger with HE, and I got 11 citadels on him with the HE. Like, what? 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 Anyway, let's move on to the modules. Alright, moving on. Module-wise, there's not much you can change. Now, I use premium everything for the consumables. Like, you don't have to worry about not making money with this thing. So, and I of course don't have any money issues, so I use premium everything. But if you don't want to be doing that, at least use premium repair and premium smoke. You can get away with just normal Hydra, normal radar. Upgrade wise, the gun upgrade 1, and I use aiming systems mod 1. Now you could use the AA guns mod, just if you want more security, but as you can see, you already do like 154 plus 80. These are 3.5 and these are 5 kilometers. As I said, a very strong anti-air. And but if you want to buff them with more range, you can. Then they're like 4.2 and 6 kilometers, and you'll be shooting down even more planes, and you'll be even more impervious to planes. You might do it if you want. It's not a bad choice. I think both work. I personally like the increased accuracy, and well, the secondaries, I've started a fire too with them, but they're not that big of a deal. It's mostly for the main battery accuracy. But using the AA guns mod is just as good here. It's kind of up to flavor. I use damage control because, well, I've not been losing steering or engine that much, so it's not like it has that weakness either. And of course, rudder shift. And finally, here's the ridiculous thing, the fact that you can slot T8 upgrades. Usually you can't slot this on a T7 ship, but for some reason in Belfast you can. If this makes it to live, which would be so confusing, then of course I recommend concealment for, well, I showed you why I recommend concealment. Captain perks wise, basics of survivability, expert marksman, superintendent, demolition expert, and finally concealment expert. The basic foreign training and the other one is just expert loader, that's what it's named. Those are just placeholders. Once I get 18 points, I'll probably spec out of them and get vigilance for even more torpedo warning. That would probably be my 18-point build, which I probably can use on Royal Navy cruises when they come out. So, that was my build. Oh, here I'm showing off the fact that actually you don't need to use last stand on it. I used it on the Flint, but I haven't really had those needs. And using expert marksman gets your turret traverse down to a nice and smooth 23 seconds, which isn't bad at all. Anyway, this was my Belfast cruiser, a ship that I very highly recommend if the ship actually goes onto live, just the way it is now. I mean, Jesus Christ, how can I not recommend the ship? Anyway, that was my a bit longer commentary than normal. I hope you guys enjoyed it.